This is true. We are not drinking. I know, I was thinking about that. And we are back with episode number 3. Sweet. We're still doing it.
Yeah.
We haven't given
Or at
up
least
yet.
for you and I, number 3.
Yeah, 3 of this group.
Yeah.
We did how many of the car?
3 as well.
Okay, so next time we'll be beating our record.
Yes, we will.
Oh, it's coming together then.
Like a weird puzzle.
Yes, exactly. Today's topic is comfort zone and everything to do with comfort zone. Getting in, getting out, finding new comfort zones. Anything to do with comfort zone.
Yes.
And also, in other news, we do have some guests that will be coming and joining us on the podcast soon. We'll announce those as they come up.
Yes.
But yeah, so we're rolling right along. We're rolling. But the reason I wanted to talk about comfort zone today is since I'm in the new studio here and we've kind of moved in and making this the new kind of place to do things.
Yeah.
I was thinking a lot about how to get comfortable in a place, and I'm starting to kind of get
Take off
yeah,
that
just
I'm nice and comfortable.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Real comfortable. Yeah, just close the curtain and it's all good. I think I'm starting to get the vibe of this place.
Yeah.
Getting the feel for being in here and working in here, and it's nice.
Yeah, well, being able to have all your art up and everything like that definitely probably helps with your comfort levels.
Yeah, rather than just in a room at home. Like, that's almost too comfortable. Like, I find that being at home when working, there's a lot more distractions. There's a lot more, whatchamacallit, it's just too easy to do something else.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's a comfortable zone, but it's not necessarily the best for working.
Yeah, just like, even for me, like when I sit at home sometimes when I don't go snowboarding and stuff like that, I got other things I could do, but because I'm so comfortable just sitting there playing a game or watching television or something like that, it's really hard for me to get out of that certain comfort zone.
Yeah, and it's almost like, because it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, I could easily sit down and paint because it's sitting right there. At the same time, because it's sitting right there, you put it off because, oh yeah, well, I'll make that easy decision later.
Yeah.
And procrastinate. But since I've been in here, I've been doing like 2 or 3 paintings a day compared to the one I would do each day at home. And so I feel like I have moved more into a zone of creating more often.
A comfortable creation zone.
Yeah, a comfortable creation zone, because I can make a mess in here. If I make a mess at home, then it's like you might get paint on the carpet.
Yeah.
There's all these other factors that can really put a damper on the creativity of the situation. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But here, like, if you see the floor, it's already covered in paint splotches and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's designed for. Yeah. Do you have any particular comfort zones for you?
Well, for me, like, I don't know.
Other than bed?
Yeah, well, my bed is very comfortable, I will admit. Definitely one of my most comfortable places to be on is up the mountain, of course, for snowboarding. As soon as I strap my feet on my board, it's just like, that is where I'm most comfortable. That is where I feel most me. And then skateboarding after, even though it's still super frustrating. But it is very fun to be in a comfortable area, although it's very weird because with snowboarding, I push myself out of my comfort zone. Like this year, I've been going a lot faster and hitting jumps a lot bigger.
Yeah, you've been getting some air, man.
Yeah.
Major air.
And it's pushed my comfort level of how fast and what I do with my snowboarding to a further, now more comfortable level. Like last year, if I was coming up to something, I would speed check a little bit more, check to see if I was, gonna launch off of it a lot. But now this year, because of the jump in my backyard, because of how much I've been riding, my comfort for just going and shooting off of things has
Right.
skyrocketed. So
Yeah.
there's that comfort level, and riding with I've been riding with a lot of different people this year too, which has been really
Right.
nice. People who are not as good as me. I've been riding with a few people who are quite a bit better than me too, and that pushes me to do different areas of my own comfort of a specialty. Like Sam's girlfriend Shar, I've ridden with her lots, and she's still learning.
Yeah.
She's getting a lot better and everything like that. But every time I ride with her, I make sure for most of the day I'm riding switch from the different way that I normally ride. So normally I'm riding goofy footed, which is right foot forward. Whenever I'm riding with her, I'm riding left foot forward.
Okay.
And I'm just, most of the day I'm riding like that. Practicing jumps, practicing
Right.
spins, practicing everything that I'm not comfortable doing in that
Right.
stance. And now, like, there's been a couple times I've just done 3-4 consecutive runs riding switch
Right.
and hitting things, and I'm like, oh man, why wasn't I doing this before?
Right. It's like you create a new comfort zone by stepping out of the original one. You expand those boundaries.
Yeah.
I feel the same way with what I've been doing lately. Is that like I did my first like training thing with the paint night last
Yes.
night, and I'd done lots of teaching with guitar, but I'd never taught much painting. Like little things here and there with private stuff, but being able to go out there and be like, okay, now I have to show a bunch of beginners how to do it and like show them different techniques, and I realize is like, wow, I know a bit more than I thought I knew,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to do that and kind of work it where it makes sense. And so now I feel like, okay, I've expanded my comfort zone a little bit more. Where I thought I was leaving my comfort zone, it was just a new territory of the comfort zone that I didn't know
Yeah.
existed because I just never tried it. And so now I'm like, okay, well, how do I push that even further to see where that comfort zone can really be pushed out to? And so when I do a solo one by myself coming up, that's going to be a real test where it's just me and having a crowd of people wanting to learn how to paint. So it should be interesting to see how I do with that. I think it'll be fun though, you know, getting like 30 people in a room who've never really painted before. And this, like doing this helps a lot too.
Yeah.
Be able to talk to the camera and talk to different people, either face to face or through the means of the internet.
The interweb.
It really helps kind of getting my way of speaking more fluid and understandable, and trying not to go so fast.
Yes.
That's what I used to talk so fast when I would do these things, or like even in guitar lessons, I learned so much teaching little kids because you can't go fast. They will just
Yeah, you'll lose them so easily.
exactly. So bringing back to comfort zones, even in a teaching atmosphere like that, your job as the teacher is to open up the people that you're teaching to realize that they're still in a comfortable zone, even though it might seem like it's uncomfortable, where they are doing things that they've never done, but you have to make that comfortable. So it's like this illusion of the uncomfortable spaces now become comfortable because you've created a sense of you can mess up and it's okay, and you can just try things.
Yeah.
And there's no negative repercussions
Yeah,
for
exactly.
messing that up. Yeah, I think that it's one of those balances you have to find. It's good to be in a comfort zone when you're creating or being active or doing something like that, because then you get the joy out of it, the fun, where you just like zoom in through whatever it is you're working on or taking part in. But at the same time, you want to find that zone where you're scared.
Yeah, right. That's like finding that zone of where you're just slightly scared is where you learn the most.
Yes.
Like, I know if I wanted to not get better at snowboarding, I would be doing the exact same thing I do over and over and over and over again. And yeah, I would be wonderful at going down green runs. I'd be amazing at it. Whoop-de-doo, Basil. What does it all mean? I want to get better. I want to, every time I go snowboarding, I think, what have I not done? What can I try and do? It was actually, I was talking to a friend of mine, Natasha, last night, and I said one of my biggest goals for snowboarding is getting the list of things that I can't do smaller than the list of things I can do.
Right, that's a good way to look at
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And slowly but surely, I've been accumulating more and more tricks and a little bit more of a bag of things that I can do. And I can't wait to be able to go upside down on my snowboard and land back on my snowboard. That's
Right.
my biggest goal. I've been trying to backflip for 5 years, and I've landed on it.
You'll get it.
I really hope so. This year, I got to start going up there with a shovel a little bit more often. Start building things off to the side of stuff, even though it's frowned upon up at the mountains usually. But whatever.
Do your thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever you gotta do.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh, you moved some snow.
I know, right? So horrible.
One way that there's this quote, I'm going to mess the quote up, but the gist of it is David Bowie said, when you're really creating something that's going to have an impact, the feeling is that you're like walking out into the water far enough where your toes just leave the ground underneath you. And that's where you find that new territory where it's like you can no longer feel that earth underneath you and you're just floating there in the unknown. And that's what I try to aim for with whatever kind of thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like doing this paper when I hadn't done paperwork since like kindergarten.
I haven't seen something like that since kindergarten.
Right, and so, I don't know what happened. I was just at like the dollar store and I just saw the booklet of construction paper. I'm like, that might be interesting. And just getting out the scissors and some glue and just cutting out random shapes and just trying to put them together in a different way rather than painting where you can kind of
you can feel the way it's going.
It's a completely different feeling. So I had no idea what was going to come out of this, and it was just like, give it a shot, and all of a sudden it becomes something.
Yeah.
And I'll probably do it again at some point, just because it's a different way of working. But again, expanding the comfort zone rather than just leaving it. Because if you leave the comfort zone completely, I find that it builds different parts of your character. Like jumping into something completely new that you've never done before is great, because then it expands your comfort zone. But at first, it can feel really overwhelming.
Yeah, and the fact that especially overwhelming is a perfect word, because if you do get overwhelmed, you recede back into your previous comfort zone.
Right, and it might make it less likely to jump out again. And so it's like, finding that balance of like stepping out, coming back in, stepping out, and there's this fluctuations. I guess life, right?
Pushing yourself ever so slightly. One of my biggest things that I got out of for a comfort zone was with my work during the summer as a landscaper. All of us, we decided to create a floor hockey team.
Right.
And it was really funny because we were all drinking after work one day and we were talking about it, and I agreed to it. And then the next day, my buddy Adam that I always work with, I hop in the truck and he's like, Colton, did you join the hockey team? I'm like, I did. And he's like, you were the last person I thought who would have agreed to this. I'm like, well, it's because I've never had ice skates on my feet. I've never played hockey.
Right.
And I'm from Winnipeg, which is huge. And Saskatchewan man here too, he understands, like, the prairies, everybody knows how to ice skate. Everyone does. I'm one of the very few who does not. And so for me hopping out of my complete comfort zone of, like, I hate sports as well. I hate team sports, but it was something that I got to do with all these buddies that I work with, and it's been a lot of fun. This is the third season now. I hated it the very first game. Hated it. I was like, running, doing things with a team. This is like, I don't like it at all. Now, like, it's a lot of fun. I'm having a blast. We had a game on Wednesday. We play every Wednesday, and this season, the first 3 games, we slaughtered. We actually won. It was amazing. The last 2 games, sadly, we lost, but I never thought I would get excited for playing a hockey game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny when you join in on different things like that. Like you said, team sports and all that. It is weird working in a team.
Yeah.
It's a completely different zone. Takes a certain type of personality to really make it work. Or retraining the personality that you already have. Like, I have 4 brothers, so I'm kind of used to doing things in groups, but still we're all very different. We do lots of different kinds of things, and working together was never our strong suit. Like individually,
Yeah.
we worked well, but when you try to bring it together, egos and things like that. Plus, there wasn't a whole lot that we had in common that
Yeah.
we could work on, so it wasn't as often as you'd think. But I played like football and I played basketball. I was bad at both. Horrible at basketball. Horrible at basketball. I tried out for baseball and I got cut the first day. And I was like the only person that was cut the first day. They just knew, no, not happening. And this was a team that, like, I don't even think they won a game all season, and I still got cut from that team.
Oh,
they didn't
man.
even let me participate. Like, just even as, like, hey, maybe you just want to sit on the bench. No,
Yeah.
just nothing.
No green ribbon for you.
Even if there was, like, not enough players, they would still cut me from the team. It would just be like, no, we'll be short an extra man. We don't care. Like, that's how bad I was at baseball. I always thought that's what I wanted. I always thought that I wanted to be in like a team sport kind of thing. I like being around other people, but what I found is that my own personal work, like with painting and creating things, I do my best work by myself, but I'm very extroverted.
Yeah.
So I need to be around people for my energy and for my ideas. Like, you don't just paint super crazy colorful stuff to not get noticed
Yeah.
and to have conversations with people about. So that gives me energy to do more. And I've noticed with myself, like, I get very uncomfortable when I spend extended periods of time by myself.
Right? I find the same. It's so weird because so many people, that's their comfort zone, is being
Right.
by themselves. And for us, it's like a couple days in a row by yourself, and you're like, oh God, I need to go hang out with someone.
Right. And you know what's funny, now we're talking about this, I was thinking about this a couple weeks ago, where introverts actually get a lot more of their stuff out there because they have something to talk about, in the sense of what it's like to be an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
Extroverts don't need to talk about it because they're already out talking to people and doing
Yeah.
stuff, so they don't feel that need to put it out. So you don't see a whole lot of like articles or blog posts about what it's like to be an extrovert and how you get stuck at home or something like that, and you just feel the need to go out, but you don't know where to go, and you don't necessarily want to just go party or something like
Yeah.
that, but you want to be around people. And it's weird to say that, it shouldn't be weird to say, but it's weird to say that you need other people to get your energy. And I think a lot of extroverts have a hard time saying that.
Well, yeah, because as an extrovert, you don't really want to rely on people.
Right.
In a sense. You want to rely heavily on yourself to brighten everything, but yeah, like, there's only so much stoke in this fire that you need.
There's only so much stoke, bro.
Yeah, there's only so much stoke, man, that you can carry and start sharing.
It's very true.
Yeah.
It's very true. Like, I'll spend time painting, and I'll be painting for hours and hours and hours, and then the first thing that I'll do as soon as I'm done is like, okay, who can I show this to? Who can I start a conversation with?
Yeah.
Just because it's like, to get that energy back, because I just expended all the energy into the work, and it's like, okay, who wants to chat? Who wants to do something? Anything, just hang out. And I think maybe that's why I really like doing this, because we get to actually talk and, get out ideas and get that energy back. I always feel way better after doing these podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
And like the vlogs, on the other hand, when I'm just doing it by myself, it's weird. it's weird. I like doing it. I know it's good, but that's definitely stepping out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because there's no one else around. I'm filming it by myself, talking to this little camera thing, and putting it together. As much as it can seem like I'm talking to you, I'm just talking to the general you, the royal you, or whatever you want to call it.
The collective you.
Yeah, the collective you. And so it's a little weird as an extrovert to not get that immediate feedback or that immediate response. And it definitely bothers me.
Yeah.
Like I want to be around more people. Like, I've been trying to get more people to come visit me here at the studio.
I know, I've been a little lacking on that.
But
Apologies.
But you made it.
Yeah.
Right? You made it. And it's like, it's only been a week.
True enough.
It's only been a week.
Yeah.
It's just getting more people around and creating an atmosphere of collaboration.
The collective stoke is what I call it.
The collective stoke.
Yeah.
We should start like a newsletter or like a group, like an online like chat group
Call it
on
the Collective
Discord or
Stoke.
something. Yeah, and call it the Collective Stoke.
Yeah.
Of people who are just really into creating. We could do that.
Yeah, very
What do
easily.
you guys think?
Yeah.
We're gonna do it.
Leave it in the comments below.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've said that.
It's weird, right? We're stuck in this. Oh my god, where's the wall?
Oh, wait,
there it is.
that-
I can't get out. Oh, we're stuck. That was the lamest thing we've done.
I was a mime in my previous life. And then I learned how to talk, and it ruined it all.
But the Collective Stoke is a good idea.
Mhm.
I think it would be cool to have like a little group. Maybe it becomes a bigger group of just like people talking about what they're working on or what they want to work on, and interacting with other artists and people who just like doing things.
Right? Well, that's like, I always find it really funny going back to snowboarding because it's basically the only thing I know how to talk about really well. But yeah, the Collective Stoke, I always love riding with people. I used to ride by myself lots back in Winnipeg, and I kind of overdid it, so I've hardly been riding by myself over the last 3 years. It's always been with other people, and so many times people who are like, oh, like, I'm not a very good snowboarder. Do you
Right.
mind if you ride with me?
Right.
I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And riding with somebody, it's a blast. Let's get you out of your comfort zone of what you can do on a snowboard, and I will be there to show you that it's very possible.
Right.
Uh,
Actually, that's a good point to bring up. It remind me of something I learned from a old musician friend of mine. He was like really, really good, and he's old. He was in his 60s when he told me this. But it was like the marks of a really, really good musician is not playing music. It's a great musician is able to play with anybody.
mhm.
It's you, whether you're playing with people who are just beginning or professionals, you should still be able to make it so everybody who's playing with you feels like they're getting better.
Yeah.
If you aren't doing that and somebody feels like they can't keep up, then it's the person who is better that is wrong.
Yeah.
If the person who is better is not allowing everybody to participate, that makes them a worse musician.
Wow. I never even thought of that.
Because you're not collaborating, you're defeating the whole purpose
Yeah.
of the act of doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Music is especially music, but it works for everything, I think. Where it's like, if you're helping somebody, or you want them to feel like they want to pursue what you love to do too,
Yeah.
the worst thing you can do is make them feel like they can't. And as soon as you make somebody feel like they can't, you don't deserve it yourself.
True enough. It's like coming into an improv and saying no to the first thing that somebody
Exactly.
says.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's that whole idea. So if you want to really be considered a great musician, artist, or any snowboarding or
Yeah,
anything like that,
really.
is that you should be able to play or create or do with anybody, regardless of
Mhm.
skill level. That is what makes a great artist.
Yeah.
If you can't, then that is a sad state of affairs.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Well, yeah, because it's like walking around going, oh, no one's good enough to be playing with me, or no one's good enough to be doing this with me.
Right.
It's like, no, everybody starts at square one. Everybody has to build themselves
Right.
up and get better, and the only way to do that is it was like when I was racing motocross, my dad said, you're only as fast as the people you ride around.
yeah,
And so when I learned that, I was like, okay, so I always want to be surrounding myself with slightly better people, but I also want to bring the people who aren't that great up. So being that middle gauge of to the expert to the beginner is fantastic.
right. Imagine if Bob Ross did a painting show just for experts.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It would be useless.
Yeah.
Right? But you create more experts, you create more passion, you create more opportunities for people to get better
Yeah.
by allowing yourself to be vulnerable and not worry so much about that it has to be perfect. And perfection is the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, it is.
It really just stops you from creating it, because it's like, who are you to think that you have to get it right the first time?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
right?
arrogant.
It is super arrogant, actually. Right. And, that pushes yourself onto your own, your own kind of comfort level too. Like, oh, I gotta be perfect. So, you know, you fail and fail and fail and fail, and you're always looking at the what should be perfect, but you're not realizing that your failures are more true to yourself and who you are and what you're doing and your growth,
right,
than anything else.
Yes, exactly. The growth and getting better, and the Japanese call it Kaizen.
Yes.
You've heard of Kaizen. For those of you who have not heard of Kaizen, Kaizen is just the gradual improvement over time, where it's not about being perfect now, it's just you get a little better each time that you do it. And on a larger scale, you think of how long you're actually going to live. I know life is short, but at the same time, it's very long.
It's long to us, like as this vessel, this is a very long lifetime in the grand scheme of things. It's but
right, exactly. So taking it a day at a time, taking it like I'm going to start with one painting. I'm going to start with one song or a couple chords on a guitar or something like that, and kind of bringing it back to that with like practice and comfort zone, and how you're saying if you were to just keep doing the same things you started with, when it comes to like guitar, the thing that I always think about is your body doesn't care, like the muscles in your fingers don't care what you play. If you're playing something that's a mistake and you keep doing it, you're going to get really good at making that mistake. Your body does not judge that this is the thing that needs to happen. It's like whatever you get it to do is what it will get good at. So if you're always making a mistake and you're trying to force that perfection on it, you're going to get very good at making that mistake, and you'll continuously make that mistake. So stepping out of your comfort zone into stopping that mistake once you see it and recognize it, which is a good skill to have, and then you like, okay, I'm going to take it slow and just work those movements that are the correct movements, even if it's uncomfortable. Because then you're breaking those patterns, and your muscles in the body are going to start responding to that, and then you'll get really good at doing it correctly. A lot of people think that, I'm just going to do this over and over again is the key, but it's doing it over and over again with the idea of recognizing any kind of flaws that are there. Everybody who's been to an open mic knows what it's like. If you go to an open mic, even if you're not playing, you can always tell when somebody is getting up there, and the worst ones to watch, or the cringiest ones, are the people who don't realize they're making mistakes. If somebody gets up there and they recognize that they made a mistake or something like that, it's much more relatable. You can understand it and you forgive them, and they'll try to fix it, right? But if somebody's up there and they don't even notice that they're making mistakes, they're the worst. Because it's just like, why would they fix anything if they think they're already right?
It's like, how are you supposed to teach, or how are you supposed to fill an already full cup?
Right. Exactly. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, so there's a lot of that out there. But that's what I'm hoping to change people's minds about with like doing the creativity coaching and stuff. Open them up. It's like, mistakes are the best thing to happen. If you can see a mistake, you can fix it. That's why I always put it like, we want to think of mistakes like bugs, like little bugs that are crawling around, especially if you don't like bugs. But if you were in a room full of bugs, would you turn the light off?
No.
Right. So why would you try to play quieter or cover up a mistake? You can't get rid of what you can't see or hear.
True enough.
So recognizing mistakes is the first step to getting better at something and removing those mistakes. And the only way to make mistakes is by doing a lot. And trusting yourself and knowing that you're going into it not to not make mistakes. You're going into it to hopefully recognize mistakes
and
as
to rectify them.
Exactly. Painting's great for that because
you get to see it.
Yeah, you get to see it, and it's an immediate thing, and you can always just let it dry and paint over it. Right? You can fix that.
Exactly. Like learning from your mistakes is huge. I definitely have learned from a lot of mistakes on snowboarding, breaking bones and wrecking myself off of a multitude of different things and stuff. But like, I was super stoked to have you guys filming at my house a few weeks ago, because I looked at so much of that footage and like really dissected it and be like, okay, so I know how I was coming off of that jump in the wrong way, how I was grabbing my board in the slightly wrong spot of the board. Like, you know, the difference between a method grab and a lazy tailfish is 3 inches. But now that I know, oh, this is where I actually have to grab for it to look like a proper grab, well, then that's perfect. And now that I'm really starting to dissect that, recognizing these mistakes on how, like even somebody for 12 years of snowboarding now, like every time I go out riding, I'm, you know, pushing myself and learning something, even if it's something that I thought I already knew, I'm pushing it so I can get it better. Like one of my best things for this year, and my backyard actually helped me out with it immensely, was tail grabs. So I used to be really lazy with my tail grabs. I'd never fully grab the tail. I'd always kind of grab like behind my binding a little bit further. This year, due to stretching as well, which is something that I was never comfortable with doing yoga. I hated it, didn't like yoga, but I saw a couple videos on how it actually improves you on your, actually it was skateboarding that I saw it, so I started doing stretching before every time I go snowboarding. And now in the air, I can grab my full tail and reef it up beside me, and I'm just like, wow, I couldn't do that before. This is amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Actually, you bring up yoga. I went and did a free yoga class the other night.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was good. Like, you know, it felt good to do, but it was very much a workout. And I realized how out of shape I am, which is, you know, I'm not like concerned about it, but it was like, wow, you really start to feel every part of yourself rather than the things that you kind of just overlook or take for granted. But it felt good, especially because when I'm painting, you know, if I'm sitting in painting for a long time, I'm just sitting in a chair.
You're so stagnant.
Yeah, I need to do more paintings where I'm not sitting.
Get one of those yoga balls. To light off of the office the one time.
Right, yeah.
Oh man, that's so funny.
Yeah, something like that. Or just standing. But the one thing I want to do is going to help with this is bigger paintings.
Yes.
Bigger.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. I want to do a mural or something. A mural would be so cool.
That would be. Yeah, that would be amazing.
If anybody wants a mural done, hit me up because I want to do one really bad.
Sides of houses.
Sides of houses would be cool. And anywhere. I'll settle for anywhere. I think that getting a mural would be a huge step forward in my artistic endeavors.
Yeah.
Because working with these smaller stuff, like even like some of the bigger ones I have done, they're big, but they're not mural big.
Yeah.
Right? When you're working, you know, a couple feet, it can feel big because you know, depending on the size of the brush you're using, and it's like, but the scale of things, if you go from 2 feet by 2 feet to 20 feet, all of a sudden it's like that one little black line is now this, and so you're like, okay, now you have to plan a little bit differently. You have to really think about what you're doing. Comfort zone, right?
Comfort zone. Yeah, exactly. That's a huge push on a comfort zone as a painter, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I think I just need to get some I need to get like a roll of canvas or something and just do a big ass painting.
Yeah. I should talk to Doug. He might still have it. He had a huge roll of old printing press paper like that to that. So if you would stretch it out, cut it, and then stretch out and just tape them all together, so then you could have a very, very large piece.
Right.
Paper, but
that's okay.
It's something.
Just buy a bunch of Sharpies.
Yeah.
Just buckets of Sharpies and just do a huge marker.
Oh, that'd be wild.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
One thing with working with Sharpies though is that I used to do a lot more of it. Like on the back of this.
Oh.
This is all Sharpie marker kind of stuff. The fumes get to you.
Oh, I bet.
So even something like this, it took me 3 or 4 hours, and I just you get in there, you're doing this, and you don't realize how close you are to it, and all of a sudden you just start getting lightheaded, and you're just what's going on?
I'm high.
You kind of forget what you're doing. But Yeah, it's working with Sharpies and markers, the fumes definitely get
I
to
would
it.
imagine. Yeah.
So like, if you're doing like something that's like 10 feet by 20 feet, you'll just be
Well-ventilated area.
Yeah, well ventilated and lots of breaks.
Yeah.
Or you'll possibly die. I'm putting my life on the line for this, man. For the collective stoke.
Yes.
Now it's a thing.
It is. Well, it's been a thing for me for snowboarding for a while. Every time I go riding, I love riding with large groups of people. Some people don't because they're you gotta always make sure you're kind of seeing where everyone is and stuff like that. But I find when you ride with a big group of people, you kind of just split off into your little sections. You're kind of like buddy system. Like every time I've ridden with more than 8 people, I always end up with the same person through the trees on a run, whatever. And I'm like, cool. You're at my comfort level of snowboarding or skiing. You're gonna follow me. By the time that we're done doing our ridiculousness in the trees, those people who aren't very good are gonna have fun going down the regular run, and we're all gonna meet at the bottom of the lift. And it's especially for people who are learning. That's a huge thing to get comfortable with is learning how to ride a mountain yourself. Like that's this year I've been really pushing a lot of people who aren't that great of riding, that are used to following me down the mountain. I'll stop and be like, you go first, and they'll be like, no. I'm like, no, you need to go before me so you can learn how to spot the mountain, how it falls, how you go. And like Shar again, like that's been a huge uncomfortable area for her, is because every time I stop and I go, you take the run first, she'll go a little bit and then she'll like get caught in a little bit of a tree well or fall down or something like that. I'm like, you know what happened there? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, because you started going the wrong way from the mountain. I'm like, you started almost going up it. That's not how it works. You need to still learn which way a mountain falls. Like,
so what I would consider you is a catalyst because you're somebody who knows how to step out of your own comfort zone and to really push the limits of that. When you get around other people as an extroverted person, you are able to be a catalyst for other people to do it themselves. And even something like as simple as, oh, you just go first. Right? You're pushing them out.
Huge, man.
And it's just like, oh yeah, just step over here.
Basically. Well, and that's how I learned how to snowboard. Is my buddy James and Cody, the guys that I talked about the last time we had a podcast, just you and I. They pushed me. The very first day I strapped my snowboard on with them, they're like, go down this and hit that handrail. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to do this. They're like, it doesn't matter, do it. And I'm like, okay. And like pushed me so much faster than I probably should have been pushed. But for me, that's how I learn. It's not how everybody learns, but I can see the fear in some people's faces when I'm like, oh, this is a really cool line, do it. And they're just like, you're not going to hit it first? I'm like, no, I spotted this out, this is your line, you hit it. And like getting people, I love snowboarding so much, and one of my main drives is to get as many people as I can enjoying this wonderful sport that I love. So that's one of the best ways, is for them to figure out how to ride themselves. Because following somebody, you learn to an extent, but when it's like you get thrown into the deep end and you're like, oh, I got to learn how to swim right now.
Exactly. And it's funny how there's so much overlap with this stuff, and that's what it's like. You're a snowboarder and I'm a painter, yet so many of the lessons can apply to both. And it's just like when you're painting and you're just mimicking, right? Like I can sit down and I can probably repaint a Van Gogh. Does that make me Van Gogh? Not a chance. It just means I'm a good replicator. There's replication and then there's originality. And originality doesn't have to be an original idea.
No.
It just has to be, what is your take on it? So it's like, yes, it's the same mountain you go to every time, but the ride is different every time, right?
Exactly.
And that's why you can keep going back. And just like playing a guitar, the song might be the same, but how you feel while you do it, your emotions that you're going through, maybe there's an audience, maybe there isn't, all of these other factors come into play, and it changes the experience of that. And so getting it to the point where you're doing it yourself, where it's like, I am putting this in motion, being your own catalyst.
Yeah.
And then once you have it rolling, it's just a snowball effect. It just creates more energy to create more and push yourself further into.
Well, your comfort level expands.
Exactly. Yeah, and this is why I want to talk about this today, because there is a lot of stuff to do with comfort zones, and it's not just the generic. I hate the whole. Oh, just step out of your comfort zone. That doesn't help anybody.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't explain anything. It's like, no, if it's as simple as something you're painting for the first or second time or something like that, it's use a different brush, use a different color, paint an object that you've never seen before. But taking those little steps.
Yeah.
Because you can't start with a comfort zone this big and then all of a sudden expect to jump out to here. It's you jump out to here, and now it's a little bigger. You jump out to here, and now it's a little bigger. And then your jumps will get a little bigger as you go out.
Yeah.
It's not this, oh, I need to do something crazy. Like a lot of kids in high school, I thought it myself at one point. It was like, oh yeah, I'll take a year off after high school, and I'll just go on a backpacking trip. Like that's a huge
standard.
That's a huge jump, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you could get similar experiences by, you know what? I'm gonna go see a movie by myself.
Yeah. Seeing a movie by yourself is one of the weirdest experiences. I've done 2 in my life, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, you laugh at something no one else laughs at, and you're like, oh.
When they had the anniversary for Jurassic Park, the first one, and they brought it back to the theaters, I went to that by myself.
Oh man, I totally would have gone to that.
Yeah, it was great. Because I didn't get to see it when I was a kid in the theater, but it was great even as an adult.
Yeah.
I was just like, I've seen this movie 100 times,
Right.
and this is still amazing.
Oh man, all those movies. I actually watched the third Jurassic Park Lost
Worlds. Yeah, Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, man, I love that one. That was
That's
so
my
good.
favorite too. Yeah,
so good.
because they have all the Velociraptors.
All the Raptors, man, all of them, and it's Jeff Goldblum. I'm sorry, he's one of my favorite
Yeah,
actors.
he's
He's
awesome.
so good.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll
Jeff
get him on
Goldblum.
here. That would
Yes.
be amazing.
Come show us and talk to us in your amazing voice.
You know what? He'd probably be the kind of guy if you just like messaged him or like emailed him or something like that and just explained. He might do it.
He might.
He might.
Or he might send just a video of
Or
him.
which
That
would
would-
still be
yeah.
amazing.
It would be.
So maybe we should try to get in contact with Jeff Goldblum or his people.
I've been playing the Jurassic Park Builder on
Oh, yeah.
on my Xbox as well, and that game is actually so much fun.
I have to try that.
Oh, it's incredible.
Speaking of games, I was thinking with this collective stoke idea, it might be cool if we do have like a Discord or something like that, is that we should stream a game that we play together and have a chat going with
Yes.
people and do it that way, the collective stoke. So whether like Sea of Thieves or I was also thinking because I love Minecraft,
Minecraft would be a
do
good one.
Minecraft and then create something.
Yeah.
And to talk to people while creating some image in Minecraft or some object or something like that, and do that because I, branch out of the comfort zone. I don't do game streaming.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man, Red Dead. We gotta get back to that. I've been playing that quite a bit, and it's so much. I've been actually thoroughly enjoying playing that game by myself again, which is so weird because again, comfort zones. I'm not one to play an online game by myself.
Right.
And just like hop on and start talking to random people.
Right.
I really don't care, but with Red Dead, I've actually been doing that.
That's great.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Well, the one day that you and I played, for like hours on end, we had like 16 random people coming through and just playing with us. That was so much
That was
fun.
a blast. That was a blast.
And that would be actually very interesting. Like inform everybody who's coming on. Like, hey, do you want to be part of this little Discord of this? Like,
Right.
if you can stay as long as you want, put in your 10 cents for as long as you want, or if you're an asshole, we'll kick you right away.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But that would be fun. I think Sea of Thieves would be a really good one too.
Sea of
'cause
Thieves
the
would be
art
fun.
is so cool in that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. Exactly.
And there's a lot of really boring downtime of just sailing around. Well, not boring, but like in your typical
Yeah, where
way of a
you
game.
can talk, you can have
Mhm.
conversations. Like I know when I used to play like Destiny and stuff, you don't get a whole lot of chance for just talking
Yeah.
to the people you're playing with, right? Or the Call of Duty and stuff. It's just yelling at each other. But Sea of Thieves, you get a lot of time to just have conversations and do things,
Yeah.
and so you feel like you develop friendships and stuff, like our buddies that we play with.
Yeah,
right. And it's like actually having met them in person now, and it's just like,
well, that's right.
I met Adam, and then like Skippy, who hopefully you're watching Skippy over there in England.
Yes.
You know,
Of course he is.
you get to know people.
Yeah.
Rather than just playing the game for the sake of playing the game. If I want to do like a shoot 'em up thing where I'm just playing by myself, I will play by myself.
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna hang out with my friends online, I want to be able to talk. I want to be able to, do something fun like that.
Yeah.
So, comfort zones. Like I feel more comfortable having conversations with people rather than just yelling at each other about, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. That's why I hated Destiny. It was always turned into this thing where it's like, you have to do it exactly this way. And it's like,
right.
I don't want to do it exactly this way. I want to just run in and shoot. I'm Leroy Jenkins.
Right. No, exactly. Like, it's always so much fun to do that. Just go Ramboing and hear your team getting mad at you. But
And
if
you're on a team full of people who are like that, it's even more fun.
Oh yeah.
It's just like let's just.
The chaos that can ensue from a bunch of people.
I don't play video games to win. I play for fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And for me at least, I know that there's a lot of competitive gamers out there, but I'm not one of those. I'm not very competitive at all.
No, exactly. Against team sports, that's why it was so weird for me to join a hockey team and worry about winning.
Right.
Winning.
Like, what do you win?
Yeah, nothing.
Right.
You get bragging rights.
I get to win every day when I paint, and I'm a little better than I was before.
Mm-hmm.
That's the competition I have. Competitive with myself. Can I do a little better? Can I make it a little more fun? Can I make it a little more colorful? Can I do something to make it progress? And that's what I'm all about with that. So that's my comfort zone, I guess. I think that's pretty good for today.
Yeah.
We hit a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So just to anybody who made it to the end,
thank you.
yes, hit like, subscribe, all of that jazz.
Yeah. Tell us about your comfort zones and how you plan on pushing them a little bit, expanding your comfort zone.
Yeah, send us messages on Instagram or on YouTube. I've actually already gotten people sending me pictures of paintings that they've been working on and stuff like that. Yeah. So more of that. Yeah. It's great.
And just create. Don't even worry about if it's a painting. Just like
anything.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna do something sculptures and stuff.
Make a cool, amazing. Make some food that you've never made before. That's a huge one.
Yeah, food.
Like push yourself on your comfort level of food is a massive
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. See you later. This has been CreativiSteve and the Gallardist.